up. I've destroyed my family. You know, I have a sexual assault for my daughter. It's just a lot. I'm fed up. I'm tired. And I know that I've messed up before. I know I've done all these things. And I know I've given so many opportunities to get right.
Listen, Mr. Manzano, I hear exactly what you're saying, but you also have to see things from our perspective. And perhaps you were using the drugs to self-medicate because of what you've done and what your past consists of. I understand that.
We are about to watch a Connecticut parole hearing for a man who's done the worst to his daughter. He's been revoked now going on 4 times, and they're checking if they should give him one more opportunity. We'll listen to another pretty frustrating Connecticut parole hearing, and when this is done, we'll move into another one. With that, let's go.
Good morning.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Miguel Manzano, 328-665.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Miguel Manzano, inmate number 328-665. He is serving a sentence of 3 years jail for violation of probation with underlying offenses of sexual assault in the 4th degree and risk of injury to a child. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of March 12th, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. There is no offender accountability for the offender. However, the offender has completed Tier 2, helping them recover, and is participating in the utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system. The overall score on the SRP falls within a high range of risk for recidivist. Utilizing the static 99R, the offender's overall score for sexual offense recidivism falls within the low range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should grant parole.
I have a statement.
Go ahead and read it.
Okay. Good morning. I would like to just start off by saying thank you for the chance to be considered for parole. As you all know, this is not my first, but I will make it to be my last time incarcerated. This time being here, I had a clear mind to think about the constant mistakes I've made in the lives that I affected, other than myself, in the past. At my age now, I have no more time to waste to get back on the right path to my integration back into the community and back into the loved ones I have left. Since I've been here, I've completed Tier 2 drug program, obtained a 7-day-a-week job, and I also have less than 30 days to finish my Voices program. And I also managed to stay ticket-free. With the opportunity to be released on parole, I also look forward to furthering my NA programs so I can stay on track and become a successful member of the community once again. Thank you all once again for this chance to get back to the world. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Manzano, for your opening comments. Each of us are going to take turns asking you questions, and then at the end of the questions, we will give you our deliberate on the record and then give you our decision.
Okay.
I'm going to ask Mrs. Page to begin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Manzano, I appreciate your preparing for today's hearing. I'm glad to see that you've completed the appropriate programs and that you've been able to refrain from incurring any disciplinary infractions. So it looks as if you're able to comply while you're there in the facility. My concern is when you return to the community. You know that you have 4 failed attempts since 4 opportunities that you've been given, and you failed 4 times. And I'm sure that it was not because you didn't get the programs that you needed. I just don't think that you were really serious about your sobriety. Is that a fair statement?
Well, yes. I admit that I was not ready at the time. I was giving a lot of chances, and I do understand that, and I take full responsibility for that. You know, I did make a lot of mistakes and a lot of bad judgment, but I feel that now, at this point in my life, I'm tired. I'm very tired.
You
I'm
should
tired.
be. You
I'm
really
tired
should
of,
be.
yes, I'm tired of living this life. I've been on drugs all my life. I've been battling with drug addiction all my life. You know, drugs has destroyed myself, my family. It has taken so much from me. And I'm tired and I'm ready. I feel that I'm ready right now at this point in my life to change my life and do what I have to do.
Yeah, it sounds like you're motivated because, they did give you several opportunities. With this your underlying offense happened in 2013. So you've officially been serving this sentence for over 10 years now. And how much
Yes.
time, right? And how much time did you have originally? How much time were you given for that? And I thought it was just like months.
How much time incarcerated?
Yeah, did they give you 5 years?
They gave me 6 years, 12 suspended, and 10 years probation.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've been messing up so here's the thing, Mr. Manzano. I hear you today and you sound good, and I'm glad that you've taken the program. It sounds as if you really are, you really do want to change your life. My concern is that your release plan consists of the same plan that you've had previously. For example, you said you're going to go to NA, enroll in Wheeler's Clinic, get a sponsor, you'll use C-CAR. And I saw that that's exactly what you did the last time that you were out. And you continued to violate, like you weren't going to your treatment. And you started using substances almost immediately after you got out of prison. So tell me what caused you to relapse?
Well, I mean, the thing is that I started hanging out with the wrong crowd again. And I feel that is the mistake that I make all the time. I start going to the people, places, and things that lead me back to doing drugs again. And I admit, I've had a tough time with, struggling with drugs. I admit it.
Not only the drugs, though, Mr. Manzano, you've also had an issue with complying out in the community with your probation. And the judges, they really did work with you. They kept continuing your probation and continuing it, not adding any additional time onto it because they understood that you had a substance abuse problem, and you still violated it again. So
Yes.
Now we're here, and now you have no supervision to follow, and you have no community support. And my concern is that you've been doing what you wanted to do all the past time.
Yes.
They kept kicking you out of the program, trying to get you more help. You just were not taking advantage of it. And so now my question is, he wants to do what he wants to do. So why not just let him? Why not just let him go out and not be under any supervision? And if he wants to smoke PCP, that's on him, without coming back with dirty urines. It's like you haven't taken advantage of it any other time. So I don't know what it is that you want us to do for you, sir. I really don't, because they've tried.
Well, you're right. You're right. Everything I've done before is been just violating and keep violating after every opportunity. But I feel that this time around, I'm in a point in my life where I'm fed up. And they say in NA that sometimes you have to be tired, sick and tired. You have to be. And I feel that this time around, I've been incarcerated for 16 months now, 16, 17 months. I could have easily did drugs in here. There's drugs everywhere. There's drugs everywhere. I could have, but you know what? I don't want to, because I don't want to do drugs anymore. I want to be supervised. I want to go back out in the community and get an opportunity again to do this right, because I feel like I deserve to do right this time. My mother passed away while I was incarcerated. My son is sick. My son is sick. I'm fed up. I'm fed up. I've destroyed my family. You know, I have a sexual assault for my daughter. It's just a lot. I'm fed up. I'm tired. And I know that I've messed up before. I know I've done all these things. And I know I've given so many opportunities to get it right.
Listen, Mr. Manzano, I hear exactly what you're saying, but you also have to see things from our perspective. And perhaps you were using the drugs to self-medicate because of what you've done and what your past consists of. I understand that, but that still does not negate the behaviors that you displayed up until now. You're committing crime to support your habits, and because of that, we all suffer. You understand? Like we all our prices are higher, it's a lot to overlook. So for me, that's really what I'm grappling with. I do appreciate the efforts and I do hear the sincerity in your voice. And I do hope that you're successful. I don't want you to fail. But again, it's just a lot. Okay? So I'm going to turn it back over to the chair. I appreciate your speaking to me. Good luck, sir. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Okay.
Gotcha. Thank you. I have the same struggle with Adam. You've had these opportunities over and over and over again.
Mhm.
And and I hear you. You're sick and tired of this already. I hear it, but we struggle with, is this the right thing to do for you?
What does he want?
What can we do? I mean, what can we do?
I would like
reading it. I mean, you've had a lot to carry. You've got a lot. I understand you got a lot of guilt to carry. All that's going on with you. I don't know what's gonna be the answer for you. I'm in the same boat. I think I'm struggling with it. And I hear you. I mean, I hear what you're saying. You're taking some programming. You've probably taken some programming previous to this. So it's, I don't know what the answer is here at this moment. I'm struggling with it. That's all I can tell you.
Well, I mean, the difference is before I wasn't ready. Now I'm ready.
I'm hearing that too.
Now I'm ready. Now I'm ready. And if given the opportunity, that I will prove to myself and to the board that you didn't make a mistake and giving me this opportunity to go back out into the community and get this right. I want to get it right. I want to. I do. I really do. And I know I messed up before, and I know I did. I take full responsibility for that. But you know what? I need another opportunity to get this right, and I can get it right. I know I can. Given this opportunity to go home on parole, I can get it right. I can get it right. I know I can.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that with me, and now at least you know kind of where I'm at.
Okay.
Mr. Manzano, when was the last time that you were out in a community that you said, you're going to get it right this time?
When was the last time?
When was the last time? Yeah.
The last time was when I came in here.
That last time was the first time then?
Yeah.
Mr. Manzano, I don't know what's going to work for you. But from what I read, the amount of opportunities that you've been given, there you are. What do you think is going to be different this time?
This time I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired.
But Mr.
Before I
Manzano,
wasn't.
Yeah, but that's not good enough, because that sick and tired business is what addicts say all the time. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. So you know, you have to have more than that. I did not hear, you know, how you thought about really trying to stay sober this time in the community. All I hear you say is you're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
He said it in his opening statement. He
No,
really
I-
did lay it out.
No, I admit, like I said, I when I was out in the community, I did not take it serious. I did not take anything serious when I was out there. I was doing what I wanted to do. I admit that. And I take full responsibility for all that. I do. I really do.
Yeah,
But also at the time, I wasn't at this point in my life. At that time, I wasn't at this point in my life where,
at what point is that?
well, I've destroyed so much in my life. I've destroyed my family. My mother passed away, suffering, crying over me every night. Every night, this woman cried for me while I was getting high, and I didn't care about anybody. I didn't care about anybody but myself. And you know what?
Okay,
I
so
realized
what
that.
made the light bulb go off for you this
The
time?
light bulb went out because I'm looking at my family. I'm looking at them talking to me on the other side of the phone, saying, Dad, when are you gonna change? When are you gonna change? We need you. We need our father. We need our son. We need our brother. We need our. That's where the light bulb went off in my bunk every night since I've been locked up, incarcerated. And it wasn't because I could have still been around here doing what I wanted to do. I still could have been doing that around here. Just because I'm incarcerated doesn't mean that I'm not, I could be around here doing whatever I want to do too. But you know, I said, no, that's it, I'm done. I'm gonna get my life together, whether it's here, whether it's out in the world, I'm gonna get my life together. But I would like the opportunity, because Matt, the board said, I'm coming out with nothing. It's scary because I've been in the system. I've been in the system all my life. All my life, I've been in the system. I've been on probation since I could remember. I mean, since I was 15, 16 years old. I've been on probation. I've been in trouble with the law. So I need this opportunity to come home on parole so that I could get the chance to get this process done. And I know I've said it before. I understand that. And I know you guys are struggling with it. I know. I'm struggling with it. Trust me. I'm struggling with me saying all the time, I'm going to change, I'm going to change, I'm going to change, and I never do. I'm struggling with that. I got white hairs all over the place. I can't keep doing this. Look, white hairs everywhere. This is embarrassing.
Okay,
It's not embarrassing. That's what happens when you get
Your age.
exactly.
right.
Not
No, I'm
embarrassing.
saying it's embarrassing for me to keep doing this like a young kid. Like
Oh,
if I'm a freaking 20 or 19. Still with the drug use, still with the crying and no, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna do this. My mother always told me, you don't talk about it, be about it. That's what my mother told me.
Good words.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
All
If you don't
right,
have anything to-
Mr. Manzano, we heard you, so we're going to deliberate on the record, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Madam Chair, I continue to struggle with this young man. You know, I explained to him that his release plan consists of the same plans that he's had before. You know, he's been on probation and violated every single one. They worked with him. And
I
he
read,
just,
yeah.
you know, I mean, and he served 5 years in prison and came out and started using within days, violating like days on every single opportunity. And I hear him. It sounds like so many things have changed for him during this period of incarceration. And on one hand, I think that it would be irresponsible of us to send him out there with no community support and nothing. And then he'll really start to use drugs again and come back. But then in the same vein, I'm like, they've sent him out with everything that he needed and he still failed. So
They put him in a REACH program.
no, they put him in plenty of programs.
I know, but you know how many people want to go in that program? He wasn't there long.
Nope, because he started using PCP. I mean, you know, I mean, I don't know. I think that this is Mr. Manzano's last chance, to be honest. And I see that he doesn't have any supervision to follow his sentence, and you know, being on parole, they'll bring him right back. I don't believe he's suitable. I don't. But I would be willing to give him this last opportunity to go out there and do better. It's his choice, honestly. He absolutely is not deserving. He absolutely has not been a man of his word. He absolutely has squandered every single opportunity previously. That said, he doesn't have anything in the community. So if I hope that I made my position clear.
You do. You want to put him out on discretionary parole.
I don't want to.
I know you don't.
Right.
But you're thinking discretionary parole would kind of hone in on him and keep him pretty tight. And if he screws up, he comes back.
He needs the help. Like, he
I
absolutely
hear
needs
you.
help.
I hear you. I hear you.
I had him denied. I promise. With several reasons.
Well, one good thing, he didn't get any DR. He did take some programs.
He did. But that's, he acts a fool when he's in the community, not in there. Sorry.
What are your thoughts?
I would concur with my colleague. I mean, I would not, you know, I struggled with it because he's had so many opportunities. But, you know, when he gets released, he's not going to have anything.
Right.
It's just going to put him right back in the same spot. And I would agree that at least maybe with some supervision, give him this very last chance. Because I can tell you, if he ever comes before in front of us again, I'm sure it's not going to happen. So hopefully he really is sick and tired, being sick and tired,
Hopefully.
and wants to do something. I would go along with my colleague's recommendation. Well, to vote for discretionary approval today.
Okay.
Even though, again, I also agree. I don't think he really deserves it. But these are two evils. I'd rather have one supervision.
Okay.
Okay. So, what do you have?
For conditions, a whole bunch.
So do I.
Health evaluation.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay.
One,
Some.
3,
Okay. Go over them. Let me check them off and see.
8.
No alcohol.
No alcohol. I didn't.
Mental health. You found.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
evaluation.
Restriction on pornography.
Yes.
Enhanced internet device
Yes.
and monitoring. No contact with minors.
Right.
Problem sexual behavior treatment.
Yep.
And then the victims.
Yep.
MM.
Yep.
And it also says
LP
LP
and
and
MC. Yep. MC. Yep.
MC.
No, you get all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I
So
don't.
I hit everything right on the money.
You did.
So the eligibility date is, I have the 17th. Do you have an earlier date?
What do you have, 312?
No, I had, yeah, 312 is that.
312, I had 313, but 312.
I did too. Yeah.
Okay. So Mr. Manzano,
Yes.
we are going to give you an opportunity. But if you come back you stay.
Thank you.
Okay? In terms of Miguel Manzano, inmate number 3286665, there is a motion to grant discretionary parole on or after March 12th, 2024, with the following conditions. No contact with victim MM, LP, and MC. Problem sexual behavior treatment. No contact with minors. Enhanced internet device monitoring. Restriction on pornography. Mental health evaluation and treatment as deemed necessary. No consumption of alcohol. And release to a halfway house. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
This was a gift, Mr. Manzano, honestly.
Thank
It
you.
really was.
Thank
So
you.
I really hope you don't throw this one away like you did the others, because
No, I won't. I won't.
This was the hearing for Miguel Manzano, 3286665.
you're all set.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
You know, it might be funny if it wasn't so sad that I don't know what I would have done. The parole board is basically like, well, we don't trust him to go out, but if we let him out on his full term date, which is September 2025, so a year and 6 months from the time of the hearing, then he'll get out without any type of guidelines, although he does have a special parole, I believe, but I'm not quite sure about that. And they're like, might as well let him out with some guy. They're basically like saying there's nothing we can do. The system sucks. There's nothing we can do. And let's just at least have some things in place for him. And I don't know if this is the parole board's fault, because I really don't know what the answer is, but to think we won't see him again. I hate their parole hearings, and we're going to go over some data, which is going to probably not surprise you. But you know, they don't even ask about the crime. They don't say, what is it that you did? They don't do anything that Louisiana does. And if I've never saw a Louisiana parole hearing, I might not know any better. But it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference to ask them, your original crime, when you did this to your underage daughter, why did you do it? You know, there's like no attention. They don't want to get into the psyche of how someone acts. They don't care. They don't care about any of it. It's really quite frustrating. And these, you know, it's why I don't. Anyways, what he was convicted of was this crime, which was the 553A 73A, which is sexual assault in the 4th degree, which makes it legal to have contact with another person without their consent. And about below the certain age. And in this case, it was his own daughter, and he really just got a slap on the wrist. Thank you, Richard, for sharing the information. But he was convicted in June 24th of 2013. He was released March 9th of 2018. So he served a whopping 5 years. And mind you, his daughter under the age of 13. And then he's failed supervision 4 times since then. And guess what? He's out again, because who cares about anything, right? Now, if you were curious about the recidivism rate in Connecticut, here's the numbers. Richard pointed it out. Richard might have shared more up-to-date numbers. It's pretty funny that a state, you know, that they can actually get away with sharing data that is as old as 2012. I mean, how pathetic. I don't know if I'd run another Google search if I would find more up-to-date data. But this is of course a .gov website. It's only in government when you can get away with doing a terrible job and have no consequences for your actions. But yes, this latest study is 2012, and of the case that followed, 14,398 males sentenced that were then discharged over a 5-year period. 79% were rearrested. 79%. 69% were convicted of a new crime. 50% were returned to prison with the new sentence. And you might say, maybe our system kind of sucks. Maybe we should find a way to fix it. Or maybe we could just keep burying our head in the sand, right? And just ignore it. Now let's do it in comparison to Louisiana. I don't know. When I did the Google search, I found this broader study, which is up to date 2024. It says the U.S. has the highest recidivism rate. According to National Institute of Justice, almost 44% of criminals released return before the first year out of prison. Wow. And about 60% of 45,000 released prisoners were arrested for new crime within 3 years. 77% were arrested within 5 years. So I guess you compare that to Connecticut, and Connecticut might be a little bit above the that average. So they're like, hey, we're better than the national average. You're doing a great job, everybody. You know, I don't know. I'm not going to dive into more of this, but of course, it's a broken system. According to the Alabama Department of Corrections, Alabama prison's recidivism rate is 28.7%. Alabama defines recidivism as returning to custody within 3 years. That seems surprisingly low, huh? Alaska rate is 61.6. Arizona, Arkansas. You know, it's interesting. Some of these states Connecticut's pretty high up weight. According to the state of Connecticut Official Policy Management Criminal Justice, Connecticut is 49%. Let's see Louisiana. Louisiana is much lower than we would have thought, huh? 3 years. They say that they're only at 30%. Yet they have the highest incarceration rate overall with 683 per 100,000. You know what could increase it for Connecticut? This is a whole thing, freakonomics. Like the problem with data is that it's very difficult to really understand it. You know, Connecticut, they have the special parole thing, which you might be familiar with. So in Connecticut, you get out of prison, even if it's not parole, it's a pre-assignment by the judge. So 5 years prison followed by 5 years special parole. In Louisiana, if you don't get parole, you finish your sentence and you're done. And it'll be, I think, there are less scenarios that would get you revoked, that would get you to violate a parole condition. While in Connecticut, it's a blanket policy. Everyone pretty much seems to have parole. And that's probably really difficult to be successful at. Parole's hard. And I wouldn't be surprised with that policy has something to do with it. You might also argue that Connecticut has very lenient sentencing, so maybe more inmates spend less time, get out more often, and violate more often. While Louisiana, maybe inmates get more time, and by the time they get out, they're older and they re-violate less. I don't know, but that's the thing about data. Anyways, let's jump into the next hearing, which is not much better than this. But with that, let's go.
I sit back and I look at that now and I say to myself, I didn't want them to prostitute themselves. That's why I used to give them drugs so they didn't. But at the same time, yes.
We're trying to cover up for,
I'm
having
telling
prostitutes.
Go ahead.
I'm saying here, let me elaborate, please. So what I'm saying is that.
Well, I told you it would be interesting. He is serving a 5-year sentence. His full term date is 8/25/2026. So he's got a little bit on the line for this parole. With that, let's jump in.
Midget, inmate number 7270127. He is serving a sentence of 5 years jail with 5 years special parole to follow for sales of hallucinogenics/narcotics, criminal possession of a firearm, and promoting prostitution. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of February 25th, 2024. There's no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender and has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the following programs. He has completed Tier 2, good intentions, bad choices, voices, and anger management. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the SRT falls within the high range of risk for recidivism. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Good morning. First and foremost, I'd like to say thanks for allowing me to have this hearing through parole. Next, I'd like to say I do apologize to the community for my actions and my criminal behavior and the crimes that I've committed, and to anybody's lives that I may have affected due to the crimes that I've committed. Through this parole and me having this, I've found my way of changing my life and bettering myself and doing something different that I've never done through any of my other times of being incarcerated. I've set myself up with a plan to better myself on the outside and not just set myself up for short-term goals. I set something up for long-term, set a path for me, which I went to school on the outside, well, inside here, but I paid for Stratford Community Institute, and they sent me my work. I went to school for a drug and alcohol treatment specialist, and I've also completed C-Card to be a recovery coach. Not only am I setting myself up for just a job, I'm trying to set myself up for a new structure of living, a new life, because I just can't do it on my own. And not only will I be able to make a good living and be able to work, I'll be able to put myself around people that are going through the same thing that I'm going through, which I know that would help me. And I'm tired of living this life of helping you. Excuse me?
The same thing that you're going through? Is that what you just said?
Yes. And let me elaborate.
Please, because these people are struggling with substances, like true drug problems, and you're smoking marijuana.
Yeah, and I'm allow me to elaborate. What I'm saying is, as far as people going through the same thing, I'm addicted to selling drugs.
Okay.
I'm going through the same. I don't do hard drugs. They do the hard drugs, but I'm selling the drugs to them. And the same tools that you learn from these programs and trying to change your life is the same tools that they use. A lot of people don't see it that way, but they are. And this is all through this whole time that I've been incarcerated, I've dealt with self-awareness. Self-awareness is the main thing that I have to deal with to better myself and know what I need to do to better myself. And through the self-awareness, I'm taking a check on myself and I'm saying, hey, okay, they deal with pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. These are the same things that I need to do to better myself. It doesn't matter about the drugs. I can utilize those tools just like they're utilizing those tools to make changes in my life. And that's what I've done through the program and through my schooling. And I know where I'm at in my life right now with that. I'm on the action and the maintenance stage. My action, I took action in jail instead of waiting until I get on the outside. I've done that before where I say, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then when I get on the outside, I fill myself up with so much stuff on my plate that I don't finish my meal. And then what do? I put it aside and I go back to selling drugs. I'm not going to do that this time. That's why I've been active on what I'm doing, and I started it now from in prison so that I set a path up for myself when I get out of here. And that path is for a career. And along that career and setting myself up for that, I'm going to start bringing some PSP, pack some patience. And that's going to come and get me a long way. Also, with that being said, I understand the situation, how my case it is, and what I was doing. I understand the safety measures of this, that I was selling drugs in a hotel, and I'm not happy about that. I had a gun in a hotel. I had a gun because I was selling drugs for protection. One thing could have led to another. Did I ever want to use the gun? No. I had it to hope people knew I had it and wouldn't mess with me, and then, it would go like that. But I also see the flip side of that is the safety in that is people knowing that I had a gun, I could have been in a position where I had to use a gun. And I probably wouldn't be sitting here holding a conversation with you right now.
Or wouldn't.
You sure would.
Right. And that's why I would never put myself in a situation like that again. And then I look at the other aspect of the thing, of my situation, whereas there was prostitution involved. I sold drugs. I'm completely aware of the ripple effect that I created and created people to become victims because of what I was doing. At first, I didn't see that like that. I just was selling drugs and I just was trying to make a fast living. But there's people that I know that I got close to and understood their situations and what they were doing as far as having to prostitute themselves to make money to be able to buy drugs. I sit back and I look at that now and I say to myself, I didn't want them to prostitute themselves. That's why I used to give them drugs so they didn't. But at the same time,
What?
yes.
What?
Trying to cover up for,
I'm
having
telling you,
prostitutes.
Go ahead.
I'm saying here, let me elaborate, please. So what I'm saying is that I knew people that were prostituting themselves, okay? I sold drugs to them. I never wanted them to prostitute themselves. I didn't have them prostituting. You understand what I'm saying? What I'm trying to explain to you is that I still kept their prostitution active by me selling them drugs. When they didn't have anything, I gave them drugs so that they didn't have to prostitute themselves to make money to buy drugs.
Right, I understand that. That doesn't make you a martyr.
It said it doesn't make me a what?
Martyr. Like
you was helping them.
right. That's like
Yeah.
No,
a
and
man
this
of
is
honor.
and this is why I'm saying right now, I see the difference in that now that I wasn't helping the situation. I was worsening the situation by giving them drugs. See, when it comes to dope and fentanyl, people get sick. So they wouldn't have money to be able to buy drugs. So what I did was
we know.
Okay, so that's what I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know that I'm aware of what I was doing, and I'm not saying that what I was doing was right.
Right.
And
We appreciate that. We appreciate that.
And I do acknowledge that I made people victims in that situation. That's what I'm trying. And I'm just explaining myself just like I did about the gun, that there was safety involved in that. And just like I can say, I was selling fentanyl. I look at fentanyl, I don't like it. Was I selling it? Yes, I did. And I look at the safety message of that, and I sit here today and I say, what I did is I did journaling, and I wrote things down so that I can reflect off, so that I know that that's my self-awareness. And I say to myself, and I say, I look at things differently now. I say, wow, I've seen people clean rooms and not clean them well, and people that I sold fentanyl to could have had my bags in the room, and then you have families coming there with their children, and their children could have got to the bags. And could have OD'd. But these are the things that I look at now that I would never turn me back into a situation like that again. And also I have daughters. I would never want my daughters to be in a position to be in a vicious cycle that you can't get in. And I created that cycle by making it convenient by me being there. The best way that I could have got away from that and and help people in the right way was to just leave that situation alone. And that's why I chose to go the route that I'm going today. Instead of helping destroy people's lives, I want to help uplift people and better people and help the community.
All right. So thank you for your comments, Mr. Midget. We're gonna take turns to ask you questions. Then when we're done, we're gonna deliberate on the record and give your answer. I'm going to ask Mr. Rodriguez to begin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Midget, I hear two different things. I hear a person who's trying to get his life together, and on the other hand, I hear somebody who minimizes some of the things that you've done, and in fact, sees himself as a person who was helping in a situation, not hurting in a situation. So some of the information we got, kind of doesn't fit kind of what you're sharing, right? So some of the information we got is that, in fact, you were involved in the prostitution piece, and you had more than one or two females that were involved in it. Actually, there was some documents around you providing drugs for them as well. So we kind of know that. So I'm just trying to get a sense of where are you with that piece of your responsibility in this? Are you saying that you were in fact, coordinating some of the prostitution?
He explained that though.
I didn't kind of get that.
Okay, no,
He was saving their lives.
No, he did explain it. He said I was having them, they were prostituting themselves to get the
So
drug.
he was organizing.
He was trying to prevent doing it.
Okay.
What
Go ahead.
what I was saying is, as far as them setting up the dates and all that, I had nothing to do with that. But I'm not going to be naive to the fact that I sold them drugs. I know I sold them drugs. And by me selling them drugs, it kept their prostitution active.
Yeah, I got you. That makes sense.
You see what I'm saying? And I'm taking full responsibility for that.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes.
Even though you said it earlier, I didn't quite get it. So
yeah, that's because I used the. Yeah.
Huh?
No, that's because when I think when I came off and I said that I was helping them by giving them drugs, I think maybe that was a bad choice of words. I didn't know. I don't mean that I was helping them. I'm just saying, what they were doing, by them not having money, I was giving it. I said that was all wrong in a nutshell.
All right, so I appreciate you kind of clarifying that.
Yeah, well, I want to clarify that.
But I want to talk a little bit about some of the programming that you've got.
Okay.
Right, because what I want to hear from you is what have you got from that program that changes you in a way that's going to make you different on the outside?
Well, from every program that I have done, I've learned now to not just do a program just to do the program. I'm doing a program to get something out of it. And what I got out of it is tools that I can use. And today, like I said, from every program that I've done, it's been self-awareness. And that's something that I focus on day to day. And I ask myself, who am I? And I ask myself, why do I think the way I think? And I clearly think the way I think in the past because I didn't surround myself around the people that I needed to surround myself around through programming. And that's what I've been doing on the inside. I stick to people that I needed that are going through the same thing or trying to change their life. And that's what I do. And what I've learned from the programs is journaling. So giving myself something to self-reflect on. And my self-awareness being that I have to change my life. And like I said, it starts with pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. And I said in my stage of life and where I'm at right now is the action and the maintenance. I'm past preparation and pre-contemplation and all that. I know what I was doing. I'm past that. My stuff is action and what I'm going to do to change. And that's what I did. I created a path for myself by doing CCAR, okay, to be around people that are going through hard times in their life and changing. I'm using that as a structure for my life to be better, as I take that as a community, to be around people that want to change. And that's what I'm engulfing myself in.
So part of this, I guess, this action planning is centered around the program you wanted to start, right? Is that correct? You want to start a program?
I do want to start a program, but first, you got to crawl before you walk. Right now, I have a job waiting for me through CCAR. I want to get involved with CCAR first. Get around people that are actively in trying to change and so forth, and talk to the right people, meet who I need to meet, and then get a job, and then branch off from there and do my own thing. But it's got to start from the basics first.
Well, I know you mentioned in the documents that we have that
Yeah.
one of the moves that you want to make is to open up a facility for
Yes.
homeless women. Is that correct?
Yes, I do. Because what I see today is that, and I've heard this when I've spoken with my tier 2 counselor, and I told them my plans and my ideas. And I said, what I see is that there's not enough program for women out there right now. And what I've been seeing is that they provide these programs for these women after they go to Niagara, and they serve a sentence. What about the females that's on the street that go to detox? They were homeless before they even went into detox. They were living in, I can use hotels as an example. I've witnessed it, and then they go do detox, and then they come out of detox and they have nowhere to go. So what do? They go back to.
I just found it a little ironic that it was the sole situation with prostitution, and what your ending goal was in the end was to start a project for homeless women, who are struggling, who typically, maybe struggling with substance abuse and addiction, and have those kinds of issues that make them susceptible to other things happening with them. I just found that, just strange. I just found it unusual. Not a homeless shelter for men who may have issues like you had, or like you had, but that your thinking was. I'll let you finish. Right. That your thinking was, oh no, let me think about opening up this home for women who are struggling with addiction, dependency, homelessness, all those things that would make them dependent upon, or could be dependent upon, other people. That's all. Now you can go ahead.
Okay. First of all, that was written down wrong. I said I wanted to do something for the homeless and create something for women as well. The program consisting of the women would be women that may have addiction problems, going through recovery, domestic issues, and also substance abuse, and maybe going through things of trying to get their kids back. These are the things that I've been. These are the situations that I've been around, and I sit back and I also sit and say, it's not that I'm Xing out men. No, I want to help the men too. But I'm just speaking in general that I know hands down that there's not enough program out there for women, and I've spoken with counselors in here, and they told me that there isn't, that they need more.
Okay. All right. I want to move on to a different area. You've had some opportunities to be released before, right? You've had eight unsuccessful releases. What's going to be different about this one?
The difference is from this one is I've created a path for myself. I set up myself for a career. All my times, other times that I've been in jail, I sat here, and the majority of my time was short-term goals. Short-term, just saying, hey, I got to get out, I got to get a job. And I never looked at a career. I looked at just setting up myself for a job, and that just created stuff to pile up my plate so that when I do get out there, I fill it up so much with just a whole bunch of ideas and short-term stuff, trying to get these little jobs. And it's
yeah, we heard the plate scenario. It's
right, but he's asking me a question that I haven't done before, so I'm saying the same thing. I'm not going to change what I said. I'm sticking to what I said.
I got you.
So what I'm trying to say is that by me creating the path that I'm going to go on and then setting myself up for a career, I know that there's no way to go but up, not down. And I'm going to continue to have myself structured and into like I said, a community of people to keep me focused.
Okay.
I never did that before. I just did jobs that I just took a job and I took it because I needed one. Here is I'm taking a job and applying myself to something that I want to do.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for answering my questions at this point. I'm going to reserve my question at this point and pass it on to my colleague, the chair. Okay? But thank
Yes.
you. Listen, you know what? Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Let me ask you one more thing before I go.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
If you don't get released today, what's your plan?
My plan is to continue doing the same thing that I'm doing right now every day, focusing on myself and bettering myself, and going to continue to still do the same thing that I have set myself up to do when I leave and get out. Nothing's going to change. I went to school for a reason, and that's a career, and that's what I'm going to follow.
I thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you.
And good luck to you, Mr. Midget.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Midget, when did it occur to you that you should not be committing all these crimes? When did that occur to you?
As soon as I got arrested. When I was on the street, I was just being selfish, just thinking about just a quick buck. But once you get arrested, you look at the big picture and you say to yourself, wow, again, I did the same.
Mr. Midget,
Yes.
you've been out on community releases at least 10 times. You were successful 2 times and you failed 8 times. So I'm asking you, why now?
You said I went on a community release 8 times and I failed. Can you say that again? I didn't hear that correctly.
You were given opportunities in the community on 10 different occasions.
Okay.
And you failed 8 out of the 10. You did well on 2. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I got you on that. And your question is, what am I going to do?
So why do you think anything is going to be different now?
For one, I see things in a different perspective, and I can't keep it's insane and insanity to keep thinking that I can continue to go out there and sell drugs. Drugs is not the ticket. Just to make money, to come back in here and keep having parole hearings, and eventually nobody's going to want to give me a hearing. Nobody's going to want to even look at me anymore. My kids aren't going to respect me anymore. I have grandkids now. I don't want to continue living.
Mr. Midget, your kids have always been there.
Right.
Okay?
And
They've always
saying,
been there. So I'm asking you, why now?
And I'm saying why now? Because enough is enough. Things is changing. I can't continue to keep doing the same thing. My kids aren't respecting me the same way that they did before because I keep leaving them with absolutely nothing. I don't want to continue to do that. I have grandkids now. I want my grandkids to get a chance to know me. So I'm not going to continue. I'll be 46 next month. I've spent half of my life in prison. Yes, I know you see that, and I see that. And what you're looking at right now is a piece of paper. And you know what? I'm not that piece of paper. And I'm willing to show and prove, and I'm not going to be the same person that's on that piece of paper. Because I'm getting nowhere in life. That's shortcuts in life. Shortcuts in life, all I'm doing in the long run is just cutting my life short.
If we don't look at what's in front of us, how do we know whether we're making the right decision or not? Because today you still rate high. Okay? So the paper is all that we have to look at, the documents.
Exactly.
Or what we have, because that's what you represent.
Right.
Okay.
I get what you're saying.
All right.
I'm not against that.
So I'm done. I'm all set. So now we're going to deliberate.
Mr. Midget, the reason why you keep having to repeat yourself is because you talk so much. If you just answer the question, yes or no, I think that this hearing could have been done 20 minutes ago, to be honest. And the thing that you need to know going forward is you should not really group yourself in as one of the people who are struggling with addiction. I heard you say you're addicted to the lifestyle. I get that. And I think that that's what you should stick with, because if you plan on working with the population that's addicted and you say, my addiction is, you have no idea what these people have suffered with their families and losing their friends and their loved ones. because of their addiction, you know, so I just wouldn't, that's the only piece of advice that I have for you, aside from just answer questions, and I'm done. But you did a good job. Thank you.
Okay, so
I just wanted to.
we're all set. We're gonna deliberate on the record now, and then we'll let you know. Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Which I'm struggling with this, I'll be honest with you, I'm struggling with it, 'cause we talked a lot.
Yeah, that's why because he answered our questions several times.
Yeah,
Um,
and, I mean, he has completed some program,
yeah,
absolutely, and good program. Good intent trap choice, the tier 2 program. Voices, I mean, it's got all the stuff around what the victims were, the impact on victims and stuff.
yeah,
So on that end, I mean, he's done, he has done the work, he's got a certificate from, I think it was Stratford Community College, so he's got, he's got some real things going for him.
he does.
And I'll be honest with you, I did like his response around having a plan.
Yeah.
And planning his thing out, doing that and doing that. He rates high on the scale for recidivism. He has an extensive prior history. These are the negative ends. He's had 8 unsuccessful releases. And I wasn't clear on, what that was about in terms of, what caused him to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And he was on probation when he committed this offense. So he's got some other negative things going on. He also has 5 years of special parole
He does.
hanging over him. So I'm really challenged at this point with voting for discretionary parole, even though he's done some good work and his long-winded answers didn't help.
Well, he was trying. I understand.
Yeah.
He wants you to He wants us to
I
get.
get it, though, I get it.
his-
I also had some issues around the program and that connection between the program and homeless females and all that.
I can see how
That's
that.
got him in this to begin with.
Well, that's because it sounds like it's manipulative. It sounds like he's,
Sounded like.
because he could definitely flip it really quickly. But
I
I agree that I think that he really does want to help now.
I do too. So because he has the 5 years special parole, I think I would vote to discretionary parole today.
He's done everything. So
He's done the programming already. He's got a plan. Moving that plan. He might want to figure out a way to kind of shorten his discussions around some of this stuff to really get to the meat of the point.
I'm sorry about.
Don't start.
I'm just saying, I'm sorry about that. I just wanted, this is the only chance that I have to explain myself. So
We heard you several times.
I'm sorry.
We're good.
I'm sorry.
So I would be in support of voting.
I would too.
Based on the fact that he's got 5 years. And if he messes up, he's gonna be right back. So
high risk, low stakes. This is his first weapon. Hopefully it's his last.
no DRs.
No DRs, appropriate programs.
2/29/24 was the date? Okay, so it's today.
25.
And I think he wants to be released to the daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He has a suspended license. So the only condition I have, Madam Chair, is no driving without.
Not what a vehicle.
That's the only condition I have. Standard ones.
There are no real victims listed, even though.
I didn't have any victims.
I didn't have any, and I did not have
Just
anything
standard
else.
parole condition.
Yes, okay, so I will do this. In the case of Lamar Midget, inmate number 270127, there is a motion to grant discretionary parole on or after March 8, 2024, with standard parole conditions and no driving without parole officer's permission. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye, motion granted. So you are granted discretionary parole, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Follow your plan.
Absolutely. I didn't just talk this much for nothing. I see you right there.
But I have to tell you, all that talking did not do it.
Listen, it's time to show
Okay.
action, show and prove.
Oh.
I was just focusing on Ms. Mike. You're right there with the hand.
Okay, so good luck. You're all set.
All right, thank you. Oh, one question. Are you turned it off? Can you hear me?
What's up?
Oh, I have one question. Do I talk to Parole about the officer here about like the sponsor information and stuff like that, or do you? Because I had
gave that information to me.
You talked to him already.
Right, but I believe he had called someone and it didn't go through, but I had wrote him down on a request a new phone number to my daughter. I don't know if that's the one you have.
We have his daughter listed.
You have your daughter listed.
Right. What happened was I had one of my daughters that was gonna do it, but it didn't go through. But I had new information, a new phone number. I don't know if he got the new phone number. I have it here with me today. I don't know if that's what you got because I sent a request to him. So I don't know if because he never responded back to me on that. So if you just told me the phone number, I can tell you right now if that's what you have.
This hearing is being live streamed, Mr. Midget. So we have the information. I believe you confirmed that your daughter has sponsored, so you're fine.
Is he down there?
You'll get everything in writing. Someone will meet with you, all right? Just go away and let us do the next one.
All right.
You know, and I think it would be funny if it wasn't so serious. These entire hearings, there's just something so bizarre about it. They let him get away with everything. I mean, in some ways, she was like cutting him off while he's in the middle of giving a statement, and they're like kind of balking at it. But then at the same time, there's no finish. There's no follow-up. There's no, wait a minute. We know X, Y, and Z. How is it that you feel this? And I'll go into the info. Believe me, this guy was not just some, wannabe pimp. This guy was the real deal. He had 15 prostitutes working for him. I don't know a lot about this space, but from the things that I've seen on Software Underbelly and things like that, a lot of the guys that come in showing off as being a pimp, they have like 3, they have 4, they have 5, and they're stable. Is what they call it. It's really the most sickest, disgusting profession. And he is 15. He's a fentanyl dealer. Fentanyl, which just for that, you're right next to Roach on my. As far as I'm concerned, on the totem pole, dealing poison. He's a multi-convicted felon. You heard about it. 10 times out. He's gotten revoked 8 times. He was actually he had just gotten arrested the year before. I guess he was out on bail or something. He was caught with loads of narcotics in a sting operation that took like 5 years, not 5 years. It involved the DEA, the FBI task force, the Postal Inspector Service, and then the local Manchester police. And they found multiple weapons and 430 bags of fentanyl, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Pounds of methamphetamine. He was creating it, and it was within 1,500 feet of a school. This isn't the fence that they're talking about. No, but that happened October 2021. The offense that we're talking about happened just a year later. So I don't know. He somehow got away with that. Okay. I mean, this is Connecticut. But let's go over what it is. And thank you, Richard, for providing this info, because you would just never know. I mean, they just granted him parole, and what he went through, he literally, I can't get over this. He doesn't hold any accountability. He lies his involvement. He literally states that he was giving the girls drugs so that they wouldn't, what was he saying? Or it's because he was giving them drugs that they prostitute himself. I mean, he didn't take any accountability. And then he has the audacity to say that he wants to make a program that will house women. So basically, he wants to go and be a pimp again, but this time do it with a non-for-profit licensing tag. 24-year-old woman who describes herself as his main girl. So, I know what they call them. They call them the bottom, B-I-T-C-H. Or is that what it's called? I watch it from Soft White Underbelly, all this stupid terms and saying. Anyways, maybe it's the top one. I don't know. But so the main girl told police during a September 30th search of his suite that she went to work for him because she bought drugs from him, according to an affidavit by a member of the Eastern Connecticut Narcotics Task Force. Bless, so that was his name, that's his pimp name, would pay for the rooms while I would work for him. But of course, according to him, it's a not-for-profit. It's out of the kindness of his heart. He was putting a roof over her head, right? Police quoted the woman as saying, Bless would front me drugs so I would work to pay him back. Bless has put his hands on me before, she continued. Bless has choked me before and thrown me on the floor. I have tiptoed around him because I get scared, she told police. If I wanted to leave him, I wouldn't be able to. I am mentally and physically tied to him, and he would not allow me to leave him. The woman told police about 15 women worked for him, 5 at the Days Inn and 10 at the Hawthorne Suites in Manchester. I mean, like this. And they don't hold him accountable for it. He literally thinks that he talked his way through that parole hearing and out of it and into parole, which I guess he did. But I don't know if it would have made a difference of what he said. They were going to grant him. But there's something wrong with this parole board. That's all I can say. I mean, they don't hold anyone accountable for their actions. You don't see that. Just hold them accountable. Make them admit what they've done. Make them say it. If you can't hold yourself accountable, then no, you don't get to go out a year and a half early. A second woman, now 31, told police that she bought fentanyl and that he had women work out of his room. She said he took calls from men and arranged dates for them to meet prostitutes, explaining that he allowed this because the people involved buy drugs from him, according to police. Police have quoted a hotel staff member saying that he paid for his room and the rooms occupied by the woman, whom she described as his main girl. The staff members also told police she saw a woman going in and out of his room. The prostitution investigation grew out of a drug investigation focused on which one or more confidential informants bought drugs 4 times in September. But online court records show that he was charged with selling drugs only twice in September before the September 30th search of his room, which resulted in additional charges, including criminal possession of firearm, violation of requirements, possession of large capacity magazines. And yeah. What a shock, huh? It's just mind-boggling to me. It really is. And he's got a long rap sheet. The reason I'm not showing you the other articles is because they flash, personal addresses and stuff in it. It's just too much of a headache to block it through. But there was the one where he had, like I said, all those other charges. Let's go through his arrest record. Thank you again, Richard. So he has, and this is they only share arrest records that go back a decade. So it's probably much longer, but we start at 2014. In 2014, he got a 30-month sentence for dealing. It doesn't say exactly what they put it in then, he got the 30-month sentence, but obviously he didn't serve much of that time because he got another felony in 2015. So I don't know if he served what he served of that sentence. This is possession with intent to sell. He got a 30-month sentence. He must have served a little bit of that time because his next arrest doesn't come till 2018. And that is conspiracy to commit robbery. And so he got 7 years jail, but it was a suspended sentence after just 30 months. So now they're trying to get more strict. Right now they'll give him a 7-year sentence, but really only has to serve 24 like 3 years of it, even less, 2.5 years. And then his probation was terminated in 2023. But okay, then he has his September 9th, 2021, possession of controlled substance. Somehow they call it a first offense. I don't know why. 5 years jail, 5 years special parole, criminal possession of firearm. Then he has this charge in 2023, which is promoting prostitution. And he got a 3-year jail sentence for that. But I mean, the parole board is just like, I mean, obviously you're just trying to help the woman, right? And what was it she said? She said, the only advice that I can give you was don't say that you're the addict. You don't understand that. Like, maybe you're addicted to the lifestyle. That was, I don't know. But in my opinion, it's just a mockery of the system, a complete mockery of the system. I'd be so frustrated to be law enforcement in these areas. It's like you could put in all this work, involve 5 different agencies, and you get this, you think, oh, we're doing such a great job. We have secret informants going in. We have the FBI, the postal services. We got the everybody involved, and then we get him, and then he's out on probation. Or he's out on bail, and then they get him again 6 months later with 15 prostitutes and selling wholesale, fentanyl, and then he's out just a couple years later. It's like, what's the point? It's like, really, what's the point? But there you have it. You might not believe it if you didn't see it, and there it is. And with that, I'll let you go.